What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Panda here. A little bit of a different video today because I've been sitting here doing this fight for way too long, and I didn't record it like an idiot. So we're sitting here on basically the final little mob, as you can see over here on the left. And I wanted to do a quick rundown of how I have completed this Laseer boss fight in Nightmare Void Rift. It took way too many attempts, to be completely honest with you, but I want to kind of quickly run through the positioning that you can see on the board, as well as some of the minor changes to the positioning that I made previously, just so that you can get a rough idea of how this fight really works. So, first things first, you have to have two tanks. You need to have one tank to place where my Olog is, and one tank to where my Brokir is, but before, you're actually going to place the Brokir right here in this slot. Or really any other tank. It doesn't have to be Brokir. I use Brokir because he has basically like a bunch of immunities, which allows him to tank a lot longer. But it doesn't have to be Brokir. It can be someone else. It could be a Baron who has the, invincibility. Could be realistically anyone. Regulus is fine. Lots of different options there. I just use Brokir because he's one of my best geared tanks, and it just kind of makes sense. Then you are going to want to have one main AoE DPS over here on the right side. I think the best option for this personally is going to be Hotset. I have seen some people use Setrum. I personally really like Hotset because Hotset allows me to clear both of the mobs that spawn here, as well as deal with any mobs that may be on this middle line right here, slowly but surely over time. Really helpful to use Hotset here, but again, it could be any other really high single target damage like a Setrum or another AoE damage, that makes sense in this slot. Then you're going to want realistically two healers. It could be, I think, any healer is probably fine, but I think one of the two healers needs to be either a Hollow or a Vortex, because you need to have this really long range in order to hit almost every tile that your characters are sitting on, right? So putting your Hollow right here allows me to hit every single tile that most of my mobs are on. The only tile it doesn't allow me to hit is going to be this tile here and this tile here, which in the first part, you're actually going to be placing your Eloin right here, which is going to handle this spot and this spot right here where your Brokir is going to be. So you'll actually be fine there. Then what you're going to do is you're going to place two very powerful single target DPS in this slot right here, as well as this slot right here, and they're both going to face left. Now, ideally, you have Aracha or Lunaria, so you have the increased range, for example, for your piercers. It's going to help a lot with giving you more time to actually DPS the boss. In my case, I used both Hex and Silas, and this allowed me to hit the boss. Basically, I mean, if you look here, as soon as he spawns, the second he starts moving, he's in range of Silas. So you're able to immediately pop that ultimate and just blow through the boss, which is really helpful. Your Brokir is going to be sitting right here in order to give you just a little bit more time to kill the boss. You should be able to get the boss down in a single ultimate, but there's a chance that you may only be able to get it in a secondary ultimate. One of the things that's really important is to make sure that you have a cleansing healer, right? So Eloin has this cleanse on her ultimate. This could be any of the cleansing healers. It could be Ezrein. It could be Eunomia. Like, it could be any of the healers that have a cleanse. Midan potentially could work here as well, because you want to make sure that you're able to cleanse off of the debuff that the boss does to your entire board. So being able to remove the debuff off of your Silas, your Hollow, or Vortex, right, as well as the tank you have over here is going to be very helpful. Now, once the boss is dead, it's just a matter of handling the mobs that spawn going forward. So first things first is Hollow should continue to be able to handle the two mobs over here. Then you're going to want to have the ability to handle the mob that spawns here and the mob that spawns here. Now, there's a couple options for this. One, you can keep Silas exactly where he is, and he will handle everything on this right side without any trouble whatsoever. Second thing that you can do is you can keep Hex right here, and he should be able to handle a good chunk of the mobs here. The problem with doing this is that Hex doesn't have quite enough damage to be able to handle the left side by himself unless his ultimate is up, while as Silas does have the ability to do that without his ultimate. And so what I end up doing is I actually ended up removing my Broke here, and removing my Hex, and removing my Eloin. The reason I did this is because it allowed me to place my Broke here in this slot right here, my Eloin where she is now, and my Hex in this slot right here. What this allowed me to do is be able to DPS these mobs right here, hold them off long enough to be able to make sure I had a Silas ultimate, to then remove them in order to place my Broke here, and have Silas burst down the two big adds that were left over on this side, because when you use his ultimate, I mean, he just completely shreds everything, and it's not even a problem. Now, in my case, I am using Aracha, so I have an extra ground unit in order to help handle the adds on this right side. So you'll see that I placed her in this position facing down. That was because on the bottom side over here, bottom left, I was struggling more because Hex doesn't do as much damage as Silas does. And so I placed her facing down in order to start DPSing the mobs as soon as they get to this tile, and continue to start DPSing them, or continue to DPS them as they came up to the Olag. Now, one of the things that's important to keep in mind, guys, is once you have a mob in the stone form, they don't count as being blocked. However, it is possible for a mob to get through if you don't have enough block as per the game's mechanics. And so having someone such as an Olag or a Crowdoor or anyone that has the ability to increase their block is going to be very helpful here, so that if you are really, really close to a mob being able to become stone, you could pop their ultimate and give yourself that little bit of extra block. So this is kind of the rough sort of idea of how to do this boss. I will try to actually get a full recording in the next one, but we're going to go ahead and just finish this off here. We're going to get our rewards. We're going to pull our artifacts and see if we can get lucky. I'm hoping that I can pick up Nyx's artifact. That's the one I think I'm looking for the most right now, because I really want to try and do more in the Furious Torrent. I think that would be really, really cool. But of course, any of the exclusive artifacts would be really nice as well. We are making good progress on the Nemesis mount here. There we go. We got a ooh. That's not the greatest, but I will take it. It's not bad. It's not bad. We'll take it. But we do pick up 600 Mithril, which is really nice. We get another Ancient Summoning Crystal. This puts us at 20 now, so we actually have a decent stockpile starting to build up. We're also close to having another one. And we get 186 Gleaming Meteorite. I do want to see how many shards of the mount we're at, because I was slacking on Void Rift, and I was just not nearly as far as I should have been. Okay, so we should get it this next week, so that's exciting. We should get it next week. We'll be able to do that. It'll be really nice for us. Let's go ahead and just quickly clear this shop out here before I forget and we run out of time. And then let's go ahead and go to the artifacts, and let's see if we can get lucky. We've got 226, which means we have 5 total pulls. That gives us a pretty good chance, right? That means we're almost guaranteed to get at least one exclusive, right? Because it's a 20% chance. So let's see if we can get it. Start with pull number 1. A Euphoric Orb. I'm not mad about this at all. I am trying to max out a second Euphoric Orb. So perfect pull here. Give me something else good, baby. Come on. Regal Crest. Worst artifact. Bloodbond Signet. Okay, I'm not mad about this. Bloodbond Signet actually has been a pretty prolific artifact for the Furious Torrent, because there's no risk of damage in there. So max HP doesn't really matter, and getting a giant chunk of crit damage is actually really helpful. All right, we got 2 more. Come on, give me something good, baby. Spirit Siphon. I have 2 already, and I have an additional one, but I guess maybe a third is potentially good. So I'm not mad about that, but definitely not the best option. Come on, give me one exclusive, baby. Come on, one exclusive. Let me get it. Bastion Ring. All right, I really can't complain. I really can't complain, because those were all amazing pulls. Spirit Siphon, Bloodbound Signet, Bastion Ring. I mean, great pulls. Amazing pulls. I definitely cannot complain about that. But let's quickly go and look, because I am trying to push the... Where is my Rozok? I'm blind as a bat. There he is. I am trying to push in the Furious Torrent faction. And so a lot of people have been using the Reaper's emblem as well as the Blood Bond signet. And I do actually have the capabilities of building both of these to max, I believe, right? Because here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I actually have 2 additional ones. And if we do here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I have an additional one here. So I have the ability to take one of these to cap. I am kind of curious which one is the better option, because I've seen a lot of Reaper's emblems and I've seen a lot of Blood Bond signets. I do have one Sharpshooter crest built up at the moment for my Nyx. I do think I'm going to probably end up building Reaper's emblem, because that seems to be the best option for Razak. If we go and look over here at the leaderboard, we go to Furious Torrent, we come here. Well, of course we have his mythic artifacts. There's actually a Sharpshooter crest there. Yep, so here's a Reaper's emblem. Let's take a look at these damages. So 119 there, 112 there. So it's pretty similar. Not too much of a difference. There's the mythic or exclusive. There's another Reaper. That one's at 99. There's another Reaper at 124. Another Reaper at... That one's at 67. That's a bit weird. Another Reaper at 57. So definitely interesting. I feel like Blood Bond Signet is pretty good here too. But I think that Reaper is probably the correct answer. I think that's probably the correct answer, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm not going to build anything right now because I did actually just do a couple pulls from just doing some regular AMR runs, and I did get my Astral Obelisk up to A4. So I did just dump quite a bit of Mithril into this. I would like to get this last one, of course, but we're not quite there yet. But there are a lot of artifacts that I want to level up still. So, for example, if I can find it, where is it at? I know it's here somewhere. Hold on. There's a couple different ones that I want to level up. Do I not have them, like, at all built in? Okay, hold on. So it's not there. Mage... so I do want to build up another Tier of Twilight here. I'm thinking about potentially promoting this one up to A1. When it comes to fighters, there are a couple fighting artifacts that I am looking at potentially building higher as well. So for example, one of the big ones is building an additional Eye of Sin. As you can see here, we do have enough to take it all the way to A3. So this is a potential option that I could build as well. Another potential option would be, I think the Lunacy Visor is maxed, or not maxed, but I don't have any extras. Another option, though, could be Frigid Flame. Frigid Flame does have some viability in some locations, so this could be a potential build as well. And then, of course, when it comes to our healing artifacts, I think the biggest ones are, I would really like to build another Euphoric Orb. As you can see, I do have 3 copies here. I would also like to build more of the Elysian Epitaphs, because I think that these are really powerful for the Codex. But definitely building up another Euphoric Orb, I think, is highly probable to being, you know, a good option. Of course, if I could get some more Scarabs, I'd love to build up a Scarab. But I do think building up a Euphoric Orb is going to be very good for the Codex. I'm not going to build it up yet, simply because of the fact that we don't have this Codex active. So I think what I'm going to probably end up doing, like I said before, is going to be building a probably a Reaper's emblem here, because this does give you a good chunk of damage for him. In fact, you know what, let's just go ahead and do it. Let's commit. We'll commit in this video, guys. You know, we're coming up on 15 minutes in this video. Let's get this leveled up, and then we'll go ahead and end. So if you liked this video and you want to see more content like it, please don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, as it does really help promote the video to a larger audience. And also, if you liked the content and you just want to see more content in general, and you want to see when it all goes live, then definitely make sure you go ahead and hit up the subscribe button, as that really helps progress the channel a lot in many different areas. But guys, that's going to be it. I hope you enjoyed this quick guide on Laseer. I'm sorry I couldn't show actual gameplay for it. I hope that the basic understanding of it is there. I'll see if I can record, you know, just like a run and maybe post just the run by itself at some point. But I was really struggling with trying to get it down. That for some reason the Laseer boss fight is just so much harder for me than the other boss fights. But we got it down finally, and I was able to give a brief synopsis of how I did it. So hopefully that helps you guys, and hopefully you know, you liked the pulls. We got pretty lucky and some pretty good pulls. Unfortunately, not the greatest pulls for me in general, but hope you guys liked it. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.